I didn't take it out.
Okay, so in the 1960s when I was going to school, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, well, a long time before I was in school in the 60s. That's the time I remember when the school was actually trying to run what we believe morally. I remember we used to have mock votings inside the school. Everybody raised their hand who they wanted to vote for, and overwhelmingly back in those days, in the South, it was liberal. It was Democrat. And I'm telling you the truth, I don't think the Democrat was liberal back in those days with John Kennedy, because John Kennedy actually believed quite the opposite of what liberals believe today. One of his most famous sayings was, ask not what you can do for your country, but I got that backwards. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. I still remember the day he said that. I watched him say it on television. It struck me kind of weird because, I knew a lot of people even when I was preteen that was on Social Security, and people that was reaching out to the government for help and that kind of a thing. But today it seems like we are, and even in that day, it seemed that we were being led down an atheistic point of view. We have been taught for the past years that I know of, for at least 50 years now, that we have been led down an atheistic path, even though I got to bring up a website here. Even though that evolution has never been proven, our schools still want to bring us down that path of evolution. And even though evolution, there's no links. Charles Darwin said that if evolution was true, we would eventually find millions of links between every species. To this day, we have yet to find one link that can be proven. There's some, they say, like Lucy and link, things like that, but you know what? When those men get done with those skeletons that they say are links between human and apes, they look exactly like an orangutan. These are men that are biased, that are unbiased. They put faces on these skeletons that those folks have found, and they come out orangutans almost every time. So, okay. Okay, just hang on with me just for a minute, because I have actually started a little bit before I should have, without looking up this one website. Now these things, I'm just bringing it off the top of my head because Wikipedia talks about evolution as fact and theory, and I'm just looking this up for the first time, and these folks are kind of unbiased, and Wikipedia truthfully is leaning more toward evolution. Okay, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find here, because it says as fact and theory. So if they're going to bring up facts about evolution, we're off base right there, because I've never really seen any. There is an evidence that looks like, but it's a theory. Okay, like you say, you go into the rocks and you look at the rocks, and you say this rock looks like it's been 1 million years old because it takes this much time to go here, that much time to go there, and the carbonated process is just so much carbon inside the stone, and blah blah blah, and down the road like that. But in truth, we would have to be there But, you know, we don't know anything past a couple of hundred years because we haven't, there's been nobody there, you know. I mean, the first writings were a few thousand years ago, and in evolutionary terms, that is no more precise than a couple of hundred years. And there was nobody there 10 million years ago to say, yes, the Ice Age is here. You know, that's what I mean. So, and it does talk a little bit about Charles Darwin. And it does call Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection he's talking about here. And of course that is the process of evolution they're talking about. Okay, so I want to go and of course you can just say, you can put in, go to Wikipedia, evolution as fact and theory, and it'll bring that up. You can look at it. Okay. So now this is what I'm saying. Dumbing down of America. This is about the dumbing down of America by the media, by the liberal Democrats of today, and truthfully it's been about liberal socialist all along. It's not Democrat or Republican because you have a little bit of that good Christian people on both sides, but it's about the liberal socialist, who I think was formed back in the 1940s when the socialists were defeated in Germany and they secretly moved to the United States. But now if you want to see how the dumbing down has been, and I put on today a picture of Patrick Henry saying, give me liberty or give me death. And you know, now I'm not as intelligent as this 8th grade test I'm going to show you here. That was this 8th grade test. It's dated 1912. Spelling test. Some of these words I can't even say. This was an 8th grade test. Incentive. Conscious. Pennyweight. This is a spelling test. Patient. Chandler. Vinegar. And I'm skipping over some of these words I can't say. Hideous. Conceive, control, symptom. Rhinoceros. Objective. This is an 8th grade test. Muscle line, and I can't say, but anyway, going down to the this is reading and writing. Reading, writing, given by the teacher. It says, write in words the following. .5764. Okay, write in words .000003. There ain't an 8th grader on the face of this planet that can do that today. An 8th grader? You know what? The people that 99% of the people in the United States today that are under the age of 30 can't do that, and a lot of them over. I'll tell you what, I'll make a better challenge. An easier one, .0003. Write that in. You know, that's a lot easier. And most of them, excuse me, can't write in .03. Don't know what it is. Most of them don't know what the point stands for. Anyways. And this is what I'm saying, dumbing down. And this is a question. Question 4 in arithmetic. A man bought a farm for $2,400 and sold it for $2,700. What percent did he gain? What percent did he gain? Those kids back in 1912 were expected to figure out percentages. Grammar. Now this is my weak subject. You can tell, you know, that I'm from the South. Grammar is not. I tell people that I make straight A's in grammar in the South, so I'm not worried about it around here. Okay. Okay. How parts? Yes, honey. It's a joke. She said. How many parts of speech are there? And define each. Define a proper noun. Define a proper noun. Not what is it, but define it. Common noun. Name the proper properties of a noun. Name the properties of a noun. Gee. They don't have questions like that. Geography. Define longitude and latitude. Kids today have no idea what that is. Psychology. 8th grade test. Psychology. How does the physiology. It's like the body. How does the liver compare in size with other glands in the body? Glands. I didn't even know it was a gland. I guess thinking about the function of it, yeah, I guess it is. Name the organs of circulation. Civil government. Now, you know, in today's, they don't teach civil government in the 8th grade today. This is only through special classes that this is done, okay? And name 5 county officers and the principal duties of each. And there's 10 questions like that, okay? History. Who first discovered the following places? Florida, Pacific Ocean, Mississippi River, and St. Lawrence River. Okay. Name the last battle of the Civil War. And in the 60s, you know, it was people like Eli Whitney for me, and Thomas Edison, Patrick Henry, George Washington, who was the such and such President, Abe Lincoln. You know, I mean, and today this is what I'm talking about, the dumbing down of America. Okay, so I've gotten that pretty close to exactly what I'm saying, and you can find this on Bullitt County History. Just go in Bullitt County History, put 8th grade examination for Bullitt County schools. A 1912 8th grade examination for Bullitt County schools, and this should pop up for you on Google. Okay. And now listen to this. And I'm going to wrap all this up and put it into a point for you, okay? As far back as the Bible was written in the original language, people have known that if you can transform the mind of the children, the Bible says in Proverbs 22:6, I think it is, it says, bring up a child in the way that he should go, and then when he is older, when he is mature, he will not depart from that way. And the Bible tells us in Romans 12:2, NIV says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, and His good, pleasing, and perfect will. And the King James says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may be able to prove that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. You know, this thing has been in place for so long, and this is prophecy. The Lord said that when He comes back, the day He comes back, that the major populations of the world will be totally ignored, marriage and given in marriage, and just like they were in the day of Noah, and they did not know And see, this is a dumbing down of America. It's a process that is spiritually discerned. It is spiritually driven. Just like it says in Ephesians, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of the air. We battle against those types of things, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Listen, the devil knows to control the people at the top, because if he don't control those people, then he can't fix the future of the country. So anyway, he's getting into the minds, the atheistic. It's amazing to me that we, as a Christian country, for 100 years now, have been led by the atheistic point of view. Isn't that stupid? We got 97% of the people who actually, if you would come right down to it, that would profess that they believe in some kind of a God, in a higher power, whatever, that type of thing. And there's a total of about 3.1% people who are actually hardcore atheists, who is dead set against everything that God is. And these are the ones who the media is following today. If you bring something Christian, you are the enemy of the media. If you say I'm a Christian, you instantly become enemy of the media. And those other folks, man, they'll jump right on that. Yeah, because we're smarter. No, it's not because you're smarter. It's because you talked yourself into believing that you're smarter, and it's because you have talked yourself into believing things that are not true. You know what, man? The phrase "spoken like a true politician" is because it finds every loophole to get around the truth. If God was standing Main Street, Manhattan City, the media would drive around God to get to the wreck on the other side, totally ignoring what they had just seen. This is a proof. The Bible tells us that God reaches out to the heart of every person. And this will prove it to you. You don't have to go to some website. You don't have to go ask your best friend. You don't have to go talk to mom and dad. You don't have to go talk to your peer, your atheist peer, about what you just seen. But you think about this in your own mind. And this is of you who have an ability to think for yourselves. There's a lot of people out there that don't have an ability to think for themselves. That means you don't have the right intelligence to make a conclusion on your own. And this is what I want you to think about and to make a conclusion of on your own. And that is, what is the strangest thing that you've ever seen? What is the strangest thing that you've ever seen? Some of you, it will be a dream that told you something that you ordinarily would never have known anything about. These are the ways of God. These are the ways of God to reach out to man. The Bible tells us that God has a plan to reach every man. I don't care who you are, I don't care what country you live in. God has a way and a plan to reach you. God has a plan in place for your life. But I want to tell you something. So does the devil. The devil wants you dumbed down. The devil wants you following society. Listen, you're just like that bunch of pigs, you that follow society, that Jesus cast those demons into. They all ran down the hill. They all ran over the cliff. And they all killed themselves. They followed the crowd. And that's what happens when you follow the crowd. Do not conform to the pattern of this world. That's what Apostle Paul wrote 2,000 years ago. And I did want to get into more of this evolution factor theory. And I did get into a lot of it, you know, and the fact that YouTube has cut me off is not going to stop me from making these videos. On my video, first 2 days I got 60 views in the first 2 days. Third day I got 0. they took that video and they hid it way back in. It has to go back into the. And obviously they have popular sections of videos, and those sections, this group will go filter through more than this group down here. Well, I know that groups that are monitorized filter through more than ones that are not. The ones that are not go be way, especially, okay, if you're in this category, Christian, against evolution, if you make an intelligent swaying of people's mind, you know, now that's the group that they put way down there. Now they can't completely stop you, because that would be breaking of our constitutional right for the freedom of speech. So, you know, and they can be sued for that, so they're not going to do that. But they're going to set you in a section where you're filtered through ever so often, that people have to go get a special team together to go find you. But you know what? That's going to. I'm trusting that God is going to change this very shortly here. Alrighty, for all you folks who are Christian and hanging in there for God to move, it's not going to take too long. Listen, God's going to wrap this thing up, and God's people is going to be on top for a while. So just keep going, and don't worry about this atheistic stuff, because God's going to take care of it. Not too far in the future. Alright, God bless. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time. Crossing the Middle Ministry.